notice, it's a very informal chat. So you've been on my mind for a few days. In fact, actually, it was in my early morning meditation at 4 o'clock that I was thinking and wondering what it is that we can do to offer to you or to reach out to you and just maybe bring you into this energy and this vibration, because I know that things must be very difficult for people. And so today was the opportunity possible with all the technical aspects, because as you can see, this is our lounge. Some of you have been wondering, where do we live at the moment? So this is a very tiny little place, and if you can imagine, there's lots of wires here. Al's been working very hard to put something together of reasonable quality and standards. So I hope that we can share our heart and our vibration and our energy and our feeling of togetherness with you, with this little conversation Gabby and I will have together. And hopefully, if there's time, we can do a little meditation too, right?
Yeah, that would be nice.
I think you all know Gabby as well. Gabby has been around here. She used to be at our inner space, and now she's working at
Oxford University Press.
That's right, and really very much part of the family here, and helping us in many amazing ways. So I wanted to bring her in to bring that outside perspective as well. So I get accused of being kind of a bit insular because I'm not out there so much, but I do know what's going on, and I know that it's not that easy for everyone. So I really, I'd like to kick off this little conversation and like to ask Gabby how she's been dealing with it and how she's making sense of it. I know that you have been at home, working from home for the past week, and how it's been for you, really.
Yeah, I think we're in very interesting times, which is a bit of a cliche and understatement, but it definitely feels like there's some really powerful energies at play. And I have been reflecting on my own personal experience of what's been happening, but also the collective sort of macro experience. And what I've been feeling for myself, but also observing in lots of people I've been connecting with, is just this feeling of almost like being put into a container. So obviously the literal manifestation of that is we're all being asked to stay at home. And so that's a very like physical container that we are being put into. But even on a kind of more subtle and I suppose mental, emotional, spiritual level, I've been feeling like life is putting me inside a restricted space. And when you're in any kind of container, whether that's like a hole or a cave or a womb, or you can expand the metaphor, the kind of definition is that there are walls that you can't get out of, and it's also usually dark, so you can't see beyond the edges of the container. And what I've been feeling is that, like, for me, what that feels like is not being able to see into the future, not being able to see what's beyond right now. So there's a sense of uncertainty in many different ways, and I feel like it's going to play out for different people in different ways and to varying extents. But many people are experiencing uncertainty about their financial situation, or uncertainty about their businesses, what's going to happen to that, or uncertainty about even like the future of GRC and all the stuff that's been going on with that, the future of relationships. There's just this sense of like we are being mandated to be in a space of uncertainty right now. And what happens, I think, when you're in uncertainty is that it's very easy for the mind to kind of go into negative thinking and almost anticipate the worst outcome when you can't see what the future holds. And then that creates fear, or maybe a feeling of powerlessness, and the kind of maybe anger that comes from feeling powerless, um, and I feel like this uncertainty is around the things that give people a sense of security. So, yeah, I've just been observing myself, and I think what I'm feeling is that the only way to respond to this right now is about acceptance of not knowing, acceptance of those uncertainties, acceptance of the fact that there are certain things that are currently out of my control, and that I'm not going to be able to figure it out right now. But and then sort of surrendering to that uncertainty, almost getting comfortable in the container, still doing what you can do within the restrictions that we are in, but surrendering the struggle and the resistance that comes up when you're in a space of uncertainty. And yeah, I guess just this message that actually I feel like we are meant to be in this container right now. We are meant to be in a space of uncertainty, and we have to have that uncertainty in order for us to do whatever inner work we have to do, whatever growth, whatever expansion needs to happen inside of me, whatever deepening I need to do, can't happen without sort of this container that of uncertainty and of not being able to sort of glimpse into the future and have any certainty about the future. And then, you know, the container can be like a womb rather than a hole from which we emerge different after this experience.
Nice image, though, actually. Nice
Yeah.
image. It's not an experience in container that we remember, but, you know, when you think about metaphorically, it's a nice image. It's warm, it's
Yeah.
soft, it's, you know, very caring. It's a nice metaphor.
And the baby, you know, is kind of held in a womb or in a cocoon, and the growth happens by itself. It actually doesn't have to work hard to grow.
Yeah.
It's just allowing that to happen. Yeah.
Nice image. Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, actually, it's I completely resonate with all the things that you're saying. But you know, while there is all the externals of what's going on, how precautions have to be taken, how we can support each other physically, and I know that people are doing that. I hear that communities are coming together and people are reaching out to others who are in need and all of that. And I think that's amazing. But to follow on from what you're saying, I think that no matter who you are, whether you are in a spiritual community or you're in a non-spiritual setting, we are all exactly in the same situation. And so none of us can say that I'm better off than anybody else, whether you are in a family or a business or an organization or a spiritual community, whereas spiritual community can be considered to be, you know, exclusive or by themselves or by other people, or don't deal with the same situation that other people deal with. Yet all of that goes out of the window. Who you are, what you are, doesn't matter. We're all in the same situation. But you know what? The feeling that I had a few days ago, I've just come back from India, and I think I got out just before the lockdown. And
Yeah.
in fact, yesterday or today, I think is the last flight leaving India, but I got out just in time. But if I was there, my parents are there, so I've been wondering, you know, whether they should stay there or come here. But my feeling is that they're absolutely fine where they are. They're okay. But the feeling actually for me, amazingly enough, is that whatever is happening is good. And I don't mean it in a kind of a uh, uncaring way. It feels like there is resilience growing inside of us.
Yeah.
When I say that whether you're in a spiritual community or not, we're all in the same page, is this that you might say that we do this inner work and other people don't have to do it. Everybody has to do this inner work of being centered inside themselves and finding their own inner womb, to be kind of because without the silence, without the introversion, without being in the cave of your own mind and your heart, there is nothing, there is no power and no strength. And so for me, whilst the virus itself might be pretty dangerous, but how we're all responding to it, or what we're all called upon to do, is exactly the same. And that's what I mean. I think we're being prepared for something else. I think we're being prepared for something bigger. Whilst a lot of people might say that, oh, our world is okay, it's gonna, continue as it has been. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure. Not because I'm privy to some information or anything like that, but just the feeling that we're being prepared for something else. And I mean deep, powerful preparation, not just an attitudinal preparation, but going deep inside ourselves and being silent and connecting with ourselves, connecting with each other and connecting with God. All of these aspects, I think we have to make very real in our lives, because that's the only fallback position at the end of the day for all of us.
Yeah, and what's going on is affecting different people to varying degrees, and I feel that some of us are experiencing it more energetically, and some maybe limited restrictions as a consequence, but some people are having quite massive changes to their lives. For example, if a company goes under, and people are afraid of losing their job, so there's some quite major things going on for some people. But I agree with you that the inner work ultimately is the same. It's connecting with a deeper sense of security, perhaps, but also I feel I have to, when our basic needs are not being met, or when they're being threatened, it's like first of all, we get more conscious and aware of what our needs are. But then also I feel myself that it's about really trusting,
I was going to say
in
that,
my own worthiness,
Yes.
to be looked after, even if I can't see practically how it's going to happen, even if I have to surrender how I think my needs should be met.
Right.
But I think the inner work is also about shifting into that consciousness of safety, so that I can allow things to flow, and I can allow my needs to be met.
It's just that, though, what we perceive our needs are not what exactly our needs are, in the sense that we think of our needs in terms of what we've been used to. So we may not have a 5-course meal 3 times a day or twice a day, however long you have it, but you will always have enough to live. And I think that when we are actually thinking about what contribution I can make to make a difference in the lives of others, and I'm prepared to give of myself. And I don't mean giving in terms of physical things. I mean, I'm prepared to give of myself. Then actually, like you say, whatever I need will always come to me. Somebody will come from somewhere to be able to, for me to be able to have what I need. And that trust, and as you say, that worthiness, I think we're being called upon to go there, and that through our own spiritual awareness, and also our relationship with God, our relationship with the divine, our relationship with this source of incredible love and incredible benevolence, and incredible givingness that exists, I think. I think the human nature, the nature of the elements, the nature of life is to provide, to make available for everyone. And it's when we let go of our own greed and selfishness that we see this ability to do that, and see that when I give that much comes to me. And I think that we are being asked to test that territory, to explore that territory.
So, question then.
Yeah.
What do you do when you are not in that space of trust, when you feel somehow disconnected from that? What could you share in terms of how to shift, or what do you do to shift from a space of fear perhaps, or lacking that trust in life's benevolence, back into that space?
What I do actually, and I have to remind myself of that, I can assure you, it's not that it's like, I'm there, I know, and I've practiced it, so it may come quicker to me, but I can lose sight of it as well. And so what I do is I have to remind myself of the original nature of I, the spiritual being, and who I am and what I am. And many of our friends who might be listening to us know the theory that we share here of the awareness of the self as a spiritual being. But even it just beyond the theory of it, actually, to tap into the energy of that, the energy of this being of absolute peace and absolute love and truth that I am. And that energy is extremely subtle, so subtle. And so to be able to capture that, I need time for solitude. Like today has been mad all day. I've been going, and I know we were going to do this, and then something else happened that threw me off kilter actually.
Yeah.
And I had to work with myself to come back. It doesn't matter, it's okay. And I couldn't respond to it immediately, and I had to take time to kind of set my compass right, to be able to do that. But I knew that I had to take time to do that. So I just went upstairs and in my room and sat for a few minutes. I went for a little walk. I did all of those things to just center inside myself. You know what? It's okay. It's okay. I had a vision. I had an instinct about something, and it just wasn't meant to be like that. And so I just had to adjust my own head and just say, it's okay. It's okay. Whatever it is what it is. And I have to align with that. And so I think we need to give time. I need to give time to it when I go off kilter. Instead of just find myself, something else happened this morning actually that also was a bit not very pleasant, to be honest. And I could feel this sense of my own unworthiness coming up. And I just have to say, no, don't go there, don't go there, don't go there, don't go there. It's all, everyone has their own stuff and their own issues as well. So I had to keep going back inside my own self. And I think basically, practically that. And then also to be in the energy of God. And I can only do that when I've spent time on my own, when I've just taken a few deep breaths and sense the energy of those deep breaths affecting my physical being even, and just changing. I have to put work into it. It just doesn't happen like that. And as you know, I've been doing this for a while, but I still have to put work into it. And I think we all have to do it. And this container that you're talking about, I have to say I haven't been able to experience that container because I've been running and doing this and doing that. There's lots of things to do with GRC that I'm still engaged in. I'm living with people, and there's the day-to-day thing. So I haven't really experienced the container because my life's carried on in the same way. I've come back from India, and I don't even know if I've had time to recover from jet lag yet. So I haven't experienced that container, and I want to experience that container. I want to be able to experience that container. For me too, it's essential, and I want to be able to use that time to say, okay, be introverted, be introspective, be silent, and don't react, and all of those kinds of things as well. And I think it's the same for everyone. And some of us might have been doing it for a little bit longer, and some may not have been doing it, but we've got to do exactly the same work. It's no different. And unless you put some work into that, you just can't do it. It won't happen. When the time comes, we have to have the practice.
Yeah. I think one thing that is very simple and basic and nothing new really, but it is quite powerful for me when I actually do it, is using the present moment as an anchor to take me into that space that you were describing earlier, about, feeling safe and feeling held and feeling loved. When I really, really suspend all the thoughts that are connected with fear or pain or anxiety or whatever it is, and bring myself right here to the present moment, because the present moment in this weird way is always safe. When you're really, really deeply in the present moment, it's a safe place. Especially, if your own mind is not taking you into fear, if you're suspending those thoughts. So, the feeling of like anchoring myself here and now, and then being open to receive love in some way or another, even if it's just something like the sound of the birds outside or the light coming in through the window. It's like shifting me slowly into a more loving consciousness and awareness. But yeah, it needs that stillness that you were talking about earlier, and to that ability to suspend all the other thoughts that are going on. Yeah.
And I think it's noticing, even when you sit quietly and in that present moment, and as you say, really, no past and no future, just this moment, and noticing the energy that changes. I think this noticing thing is very important, because things happen, but we just don't notice them. And it's to have spaces between my thoughts, to notice the space between my thoughts and the energy that they create. To notice that is a very powerful thing. It's such a simple thing, but it's not like pressing a button and magic happening, I'm afraid. And when we were at the retreat center, and so many people would ask, but how? People have been coming for years and say, how do we do this? How do we do that? But it's about just doing it. Simply, it's just simply doing it, and
moment by moment.
Yeah, moment by moment, and noticing the difference that makes. So, should we have a little meditation? Let's do it. Just to say, everybody, we wanted to just know, as you know, that we're thinking of you, but tap into this energy. Recall your time being with us, that are precious for you, I know, and that's why you're here, right? That's why everybody's here. So let's just sit for a few moments, and just notice. There are people here meditating with us as well, to create that vibration and energy. I hope that you're sitting in a place where you can experience this container of the space, physical space, but the container of your own mind, the container in terms of physical space might be small, but actually the vastness of our consciousness is beyond the confinement and of time and space. One thought, a thought of acceptance, and notice the energy change inside you. Everything that's happening is just the way it's meant to be right now. And that when I accept that, when I can make peace with it, then actually I can do something about it inside my own self. Know that my present is based on my past and my future is based on my present. And so I focus on my present, my internal space, the space of peace, the space of love, the stillness. And in a sense, when I become so still, time comes to a standstill. And my mind and my consciousness can become like a portal that takes me beyond this physical dimension, beyond this time, into a space and an energy that is vast. I become suspended in that space. A space of depth and peace. And there is this subtle sense of power built inside the self. This subtlety, in a sense, is solid. And I almost can touch it. And my heart expands with this subtlety. My feelings change into feelings of trust and benevolence. Notice your energy change. Notice your breath slow down. Notice the energy of your breath helping the whole of your being, your mental, physical, and spiritual state. Thank you. That was perfect timing. The traffic control music came on at 7:30, and you all know about traffic control. So reminding you of that one more time. See if in your container you can stop every hour on the hour for a minute to connect with yourself, to connect with God, connect with each other, connect with the present moment, and feel safe in that. Anything else you want to say, Gabby?
No, that's it.
Thank you for joining us. And if we don't experience any technical hiccups, then hope to catch up with you again soon. Lots of love and best wishes. See you all soon.
Look after yourselves.
Definitely.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Om Shanti.